Hello, hello. It's Marissa from Grow in the Flow, and we are coming in here today to chat a little bit about this post full moon in Capricorn energy we find ourselves in by taking a look at one of the planetary actions that are currently streaming on the planet, and that is Neptune Retrograde. So you may still be feeling the residual waves of that very powerful supermoon in Capricorn that we have just come through. All the while, we're here in the depths of Cancer season. So the water element is abounding and definitely bringing up a lot of depth of emotion, sensitivity, and more. So to add on to that, just before that full moon peaked on July 3rd, we had Neptune entering retrograde. So we're going to dig in here a little bit about Neptune. The good news being that this is a rather gentle retrograde. It tends to happen behind the scenes. So what we want to do here is to just have an awareness, to empower ourselves, to align with where the energies are, because we're going with the flow, we're being present. So when we take a look at what Neptune represents, it is the planet of spirituality, of illusion, of higher truth. It's also highly active at this time because it's in the sign of Pisces, which is its home sign. So more water energy, more emotion, more sensitivity coming up to the surface. And along with that full moon that was sending in some strong waves of reflective energy our way, those waves can certainly get choppy. Those energies can be quite all-encompassing. So the good news, again, being rarely that it lasts long, right? Just like the tides of the ocean, it will recede and come again. And one of the beautiful symbols that I like to tune into is imagining those waves as they settle, that we get the chance to see, what has washed up on shore. What is left when the tide recedes, that we might receive some insights, some new information, new inspiration. There's clarity that follows those waves of watery energy, and that helps us to see a new truth. And that's certainly in line with what the planet of Neptune embodies and what is reflected here for us. So let's take a look here. Neptune retrograde allows us to see where we may have been falsely led on our spiritual journeys, where we may have been leading with our ego rather than love. So there's a lot of powerful energy there. And what that's doing is meeting up with the other two planets that are already in retrograde, Saturn and Pluto, soon to be joined by Venus. So we're coming in here, as always with retrogrades, being mindful, not fearful of these regular planetary actions. We just want to be present with what is so that we're prepared and aware of what the energies are that we find ourselves in. So as always, I am an astrological enthusiast, not a professional, but I am always grateful to lean into the beautiful materials that are provided by some truly fantastic astrologers, creators that provide some really great resources for us to tune into here. So Neptune, being that it is the ruler of spirituality, intuition, creativity, it represents illusions, deceits, dreams, art, fantasy, entertainment, alcohol, drugs. When it's in a strong state, it can cast a veil, which can sometimes bring in a fogginess or confusion. So when the outside world is foggy, Neptune reminds us that the only place for us to go is within. So as Neptune has entered retrograde on the 30th of June, in its ruling sign of Pisces, we are getting to experience the deepest and fullest expression of Neptune's energy. And it is strongly highlighting a veil that is lifting. And what happens there is we find that we may be confronted with some truths. Illusions can come crashing down, deceits can be exposed. So, think about that in terms of what you are seeing happening in the collective, in the macrocosm, and then what is happening for you in your microcosm. So if we have been using any Neptunian vices to escape from reality or bypass our truths, Neptune retrograde can be a time when we need to wake up and confront some things. So on a personal level, we may notice Neptunian issues that we were dealing with back in December of 2022 could come back around in some way. This was so interesting because likewise, we were just speaking about the Capricorn full moon and the idea of reflecting back to December when it was in new moon. and looking at all that has come to pass in that window. So again, a strong reinforcement of this reflection back to December of 2022. Because when Neptune goes into retrograde, that's an ideal time to begin questioning, reassessing our spiritual practices, reconnecting with our divine inner wisdom, over the next several months, because this will continue through December 6th, we are provided with the opportunity to pause, to look beyond any fears, confusion, any false realities, and flush out what no longer belongs in our lives. During this time, secrets could reveal unsettling truths. So especially if we've been glossing over that truth, whatever surfaces during this transit, know that it is meant to be released. So Neptune retrograde can reveal things that we're hiding or perhaps we didn't want to see. So as this retrograde is going to be in effect until December 6th, we have a good while to sit with this energy, and that's kind of flowing in the background. What we can do here is take a look at these time periods that, as I mentioned, could be washing up for you, and in particular, this window of time, events happening since December 4th of 2022. So if we have things to look back on that again bring forward a healthy dose of reality, we may be invited to take our rose-colored glasses off and face the truth. And that is really one of the key notes of the Neptunian energy. So as we take a look at this, we're going to explore a little more about the energies of Neptune and the different properties, as well as the challenges and the gifts that Neptune presents. So let's take a look. Neptune. Like a cool blue pearl floating in an inky sea, this planet symbolizes how we float in the ocean of the collective conscious. So Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, taking about 165 years to tour the zodiac. And on a practical level, it signals water, liquids, oils, art supplies. On a challenging day, it shows us how we avoid gritty reality, whether we escape through our imagination, addictions, or martyrdom. On a lovely day, Neptune speaks of spirituality, imagination, and psychic perception. And a Neptune action that's being presented for us today are things such as to pray, meditate, intuit, use your divination, rest and dream, activate the right side of your brain, and step out of sequential logic into a sense of the infinite. Engage ceremony and ritual, find a dream or vision, and bring it back here to manifest. And because Neptune invokes both intuition and imagination, it can blur the boundaries between the two. It's all too easy to believe that what you want or what you're afraid of is in fact reality, which can make it easy for others to manipulate you by playing to your hopes and your fears. So this is again where if we have been using any of those Neptunian vices to escape from our realities or bypass our truths, Neptune retrograde can be a time when we need to wake up and confront those things. So an action here is to take each step with care. Working with Neptune is like walking in a fog. You can see the present moment clearly. It's just that the future and the past can get lost in the hopes and the fears. So if the world feels too harsh, or if you're feeling easily overwhelmed, tend to your sensitive antenna. Pray rather than worry. So, that to me is about putting energy into what we wish to bring into the world. So what we want to manifest, not the worries and the fears that can be very clouded by this foggy energy. And this is in fact just what came up in the Capricorn full moon guidance that I shared this week in the empowerment pack for our full moon reading. We came up with the channeled words, where focus goes, energy flows. So we have an opportunity here to allow the emotional waters that rise around us to flow through us, to feel it, to heal it, right? And as this reflection on what's bubbling up shines a light on what perhaps is ready for redirection of our focus. So reflection for redirection. And then where our focus goes, our energy flows. So allowing this look back, this reflecting back, this cleansing and clarifying energy of this water aspect to come through, and then find ourselves perhaps having a renewed awareness, inspiration, ideas, redirection, so that we can focus, in fact, with what it is we wish to bring forward. Now, as we tune into the challenge of Neptune, that can be that Neptune can bring in a sense of overwhelm that can turn acceptance into passivity, imagination into illusion, sensitivity and the hunger for spirit into addiction. All of those numbing practices. On a practical level, you can watch for water damage. So that's another thing that Neptune can bring in. And interestingly, here at our house, we've had tremendously low water pressure in our house this past week. And I've spoken with a few other people who have had water-related issues cropping up, like clogged toilets and things like that. So, just on a down-to-earth, practical level of this Neptunian energy, we could see water damage, water events, and the like. So now, in terms of Neptune's gift, allow yourself to float, to swim in that great ocean of the collective consciousness. Soak up the presence of the divine soul. There is no separation between you and all sentient beings, between you and the realms of gods and spirits. So once again, we're reminded as we're riding the waves and flowing through July and really attuning ourselves to this energy, we're reminded we are not a drop in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop. There is no separation between you and all sentient beings, between you and the realms of gods and spirits. So those are some of the awarenesses that Neptune brings forward for us that we can work with. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and pull some cards with a few of these Neptune reflections. So you can use these as journal prompts. You can pull cards for yourself with these reflections, but we're going to go ahead and tune into a beautiful deck I've been working with this month and will continue to be using, as well as another stunning brand new deck I just received for a bonus message. So let's go take a look. Here we have two gorgeous decks that we're going to tune into here with the Neptune retrograde energy. So we're going to start with Whispers of the Ocean, this absolutely breathtaking deck I've been using for the summer solstice readings, and we also pulled bonus cards throughout the July month ahead energy readings as well. So this has been bringing through really beautiful messages. We're going to tune into these 4 reflections, starting with number 1. How can I be more aligned with my inner truth? Let's pull a card there. How can I be more aligned with my inner truth? Beautiful. Diving to new depths. Yes. Okay. And second position, how can I be more open to what I'm not seeing? So we're pulling in here our collective energies, working with this Neptune retrograde. How can I be more open to what I'm not seeing? And we have this card of looking beyond the surface. Yeah, we're not escaping these depths, going deep, right? Going for it. Number 3, what kind of deception or illusion is currently present? Feeling into this on both the macro and microcosms about the deception or illusions that are currently present. Okay, and we have connect to source. Interesting. And number 4, what step is needed to remove my rose-colored glasses? Removing the rose-colored glasses. The step that we can take. Looks like we have gliding through the currents. Okay, yes, we're gonna feel into those. But first, let's pull out a bonus message here from the brand new Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. So totally breathtaking, has been bringing through some beautiful messages. We are asking for an overarching message here for us collectively with this Neptune retrograde for reflection. So an extra message here from the Healing Waters. Okay, let's see. We have Atlantis. Keep the big vision. Stay in alignment as you grow. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and pull these up and take a look. We begin here with our 4-card spread for Neptune reflections. These beautiful, striking cards that have come forward, each with a message on how we can reflect on what Neptune retrograde is bringing forward for us. So here we have card number 1, how can I be more aligned with my inner truth? And we receive the card, diving to new depths. The message says that there is a deeper meaning to what is happening. You might be looking at this from the surface and missing what is really going on. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Allow yourself to dive deeper into what it is you are feeling about your current situation. So when we think about becoming aligned with our inner truth, what does that mean? And as we talk about things coming up from the depths and illusions being dispelled and so forth, the veil being pulled back, here's an invitation for us to make a deeper connection with ourselves and really be honing in on something that is in our life that needs attention or mediation or a solution, paying attention to that inner voice to get in touch with our personal truths and to know the wisdom and understand the heartbeat of the universe of which we are all a part of. So we might be asked to embrace the unknown, and it's perfectly natural that we form an initial view of something, of a challenge or a situation. We do that instinctively without any awareness. But if our first impression limits our problem solving ability because we go into that state of fear or disillusion, we have this opportunity to surpass that, to go beyond it, to push through it. So if we continue to address a situation from this current limited viewpoint, we're not going to see anything new, right? If we're looking for our truth outside of us, if we're not aligned with our inner truth, then all that's reflected back is what others would have us believe or how we may be led to see a situation, regardless of whether that is aligned with our inner truth. So there's an opportunity here to step back, see things differently or from a different angle, a new perspective, and surely that will present itself. So on a deeper emotional level, these spontaneous actions that we've chosen, knee-jerk reactions, if we will, they may have caused us to feel some unrest, to feel unsettled. And that is because our body is allowing us, it's informing us that this thing is not in alignment. Something doesn't sit right with me. This truth does not feel like my truth. What we have here is the sperm whale and the reference to how deep these whales dive. They dive the deepest, in fact, of all the whales. They have been recorded at depths greater than 3,200 meters, and they can remain underwater a bit longer than an hour. So sperm whales are bringing through the symbolism here of the emotional depths and the connection between our thoughts and our emotional choices. We're being asked to dig a bit deeper here into a situation. Neptune reflection number 2 asks, how can I be more open to what I'm not seeing? And here we get the card, look beyond the surface. With this message, avoid becoming distracted by surface issues. Focus on the underlying motivation, cause, or beauty in a situation, and seek ways to bring depth into your world. So, how can I be more open? Look deeper. Go beyond the surface. Look for those ways that something, again, isn't hitting quite right or quite authentic for you. Allow your senses to become aware of all this perfection that surrounds us. Allure exists in all aspects of our life, in nature, in relationships, in our own being. And if we're missing it, assess what we've been focusing our attention on and look for the beauty in your life instead. Again, where your focus goes, energy flows. So if I am sitting in a particularly negative or lower vibrational energy, if that is what is in my surroundings on the surface, then sure enough, that is what I am going to be calling in. That is what the energy will go where my focus is. So we have this opportunity to take a look and see if we're missing these things, assessing what we've been focusing our attention on. Yes, and look for the beauty in your life instead. So if you look, you're sure to find it. Get in touch with your sensuality through sight, smell, taste, and touch. Draw on your senses and experience contentment and deep satisfaction. So by being more open, by going deeper, looking beyond, we open ourselves up for unveiling that beauty within. And also in a very Cancer season way, we have a highlight here to treating ourselves, to some self-care, some nurturing. And yes, on the surface, for some, that could mean going to a spa or getting a massage or just enjoying some new experience or simply spending time with people that you love. But you may want to go even deeper than that. Discover new ways to creatively express yourself, maybe through dance or exercise, outdoor activity, painting, music, drama, other art forms. This could be the perfect time to take up a new hobby, one which enables you to access the creative part of yourself. These are all ways that we can open up to step out, to go beyond. And of course, what we have here is the archetype of the whale. And at first sight, it might appear that whales have warts covering their faces, their bodies, their tails. But the bumps that we see, such as here on a humpback whale's snout, are tubercles, and their bodies become home to sea barnacles. So sea barnacles find locations in the ocean, from the shore side to the deep ocean, to attach. And so while juvenile barnacles swim and drift with the ocean currents, when they have nearly matured, barnacles find identical barnacles and attach to the same surface. They choose the site, which ranges from the bottom of a boat to the side of a whale. This means the barnacles on the whale's face are fully developed and immobile. The appearance of barnacles does not diminish the majesty and beauty of the whales. In fact, it gives the whales' bodies an interesting detail. Now, you see what just happened here brilliantly is we looked at this card and we assumed this is about a whale. I see a whale, it's a humpback whale, but actually the focus as we went beyond the surface to go deeper was about barnacles. I didn't see that when I first looked at this card. I wasn't thinking about the barnacles. I was thinking about the whale, the big shiny thing, the obvious thing, right? So this is really symbolic of the energies we've been talking about, opening ourselves up to what am I not seeing, peeling back the layers, peeling back the veil, taking off the rose-colored glasses, right? And seeing the intricate details and aspects that may not initially meet the eye. Now, speaking of that, what kind of deception or illusion is currently present? And we are looking now here at the card Connect to Source. So the message says to go within to discover what needs to be done. Create the shift required to attract what you want. Now, when we talk about things being a deception or an illusion and getting the guidance to connect to Source, this is speaking to what we've already been talking about, where things can look a certain way on the surface that is deceptive or illusory. And that could be this belief that we are not connected to Source, that we are in fact, operating in silos, or that it's all about lack-based mentality or survival of the fittest, or any sort of belief that doesn't have us completely embracing the absolute truth of the connectedness of all things. So the spotlight comes back around again to illuminating any deception or illusion that would have us believe that we are separate, that we are not all in fact connected, or that we are not all infinitely affected by what is happening for others. And this can be seen in the ocean, just in the waves themselves. This came up in our full moon reading as well, about the different ships that are passing in the ocean and the wake that one ship creates. If you were in the water next to that ship, you are going to experience the residual effects of that ship. You're not on that boat, but you're experiencing something from a result of your connectedness to it, and both of you in the ocean being connected there as well. So, everything that you do and think influences our world. take a moment to reflect on what your intentions and actions are, and be more reserved, patient, and tender, both with yourself and with those around you. So bringing in some compassion, some unconditional love, some kindness. Be ready for the many opportunities that are coming to you. You're undergoing a deeper, sacred journey, which is all about bringing greater meaning and purpose into your life, and which will renew your inner energy. You're anticipating that your future will be better than the period of life lessons that you've just completed. There's a promise of your life purpose that should encourage and inspire you to deepen your inner connection. So trust that you will attain all that you are yearning for. The beauty of your soul and your connection to the divine source is trying to tell you something important. So really allow yourself to connect in with that frequency, to bring forward greater clarity and illumination in any type of deceptions or illusions that could be playing out for you personally, and again, rippling out into the collective. Now what we have here are feather stars. They are starfish with bodies that have adapted to living upside down. They firmly attach to rocks on the ocean floor. The feather star connects to many aspects of balancing the mind, body, and spirit. And there are times that we need to go within for answers, to find inner strength and resolve to tap into those deep emotions. And in so doing, we are then able to come back out and interact with the world and interconnect with the world from having gotten that clarity from within. Now, the fourth Neptune reflection: what step is needed to remove my rose-colored glasses? And we've got gliding through the currents. And it says, with a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. So a massive step in the direction of, of this clarity is gliding through the currents, being present with what is. And here we see that with meditation, increased awareness of our surroundings, we are able to move forward like a manta ray, gliding beautifully yet energetically. We can trust this guidance and move ahead to create an opportunity for endeavors to come into our scope. In so doing, we look to be discerning and tune into other possibilities that are available to us beyond the surface, more than meets the eye, right? Be willing to make changes to bring the best possible outcomes. So this graceful giant that we see here encourages you to carefully observe the people and movements around you. Manta rays may be seen in groups or individually and are able to effortlessly coast through powerful currents of water. You're being asked to notice variations in the energies that are coming at you and choose how you would like to utilize your own energy in response, right? Using that discernment. I can't affect the current. I can't help the wake that is around me, but I can decide how I'm going to experience it, right? This is the year of the Chariot, getting behind the wheel in the driver's seat. What do I have control over? My actions and my reactions. Now, manta rays, another fun fact here, they keep their mouths open so that they can gather plankton as they travel. So guidance is to say for you, keep an open mind and heart as you move through life and gather more information and make your choices purposefully. If you do encounter resistance or blocks, consider diverting your flow to other matters until things improve. So I love that. We can take the symbolism, and isn't this amazing how each of these cards gives us some fun facts and connecting those beautiful spiritual breadcrumbs with how these majestic creatures can all teach us something, that there's so much more than meets the eye. When we go beneath the surface, you can even look at how the manta ray swims with their mouth open and bring that into how that can inform your life, and think about me moving about with an open mind and an open heart, but all the while standing in my authenticity with discernment and feeling into using my inner detector, whether or not something rings true for me. So I can collect all this plankton as I move around, but I can decide what is going to stick with me and what I am releasing back into the flow. Beautiful. So finally, we have our bonus Healing Waters Oracle message with this card of Atlantis. Keep the big vision, stay in alignment as you grow. And I can see the beautiful ripples that are coming out from this sacred space. And, it's really putting a focus again on the big vision is that, yes, we are not just a drop in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop, all things being connected. And, where my focus goes, my energy flows. So the big picture, my big focus ultimately is on my soul's journey, right? In this lifetime. The healing, the growth, the learning, the expansion, the ripple effect of what I put out into the world, and all of those things being interconnected. So that's big picture, right? This card comes in with some specific messages, bringing us back into writings by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, describing the great civilization called Atlantis, whose island home in the Atlantic Ocean was a marvel of architecture. Its capital city was made up of a series of concentric circles separated by moats of water, and its center was a temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. The Atlanteans were a highly advanced people who were very much tapped into and connected with the energy of the universe. They also harnessed the power of water and air in their technologies and their practices. So perhaps this is where their tremendous psychic and magical abilities for manifesting their great visions into physical came from. So eventually, Atlantis' growth got out of hand, and its people became greedy and disrespectful. A series of earthquakes caused the island to sink to the bottom of the ocean, and for millennia, people have been captivated by the legend of this lost civilization. So this is a card that's bringing through a very powerful message, huge visions and promises. You have the potential to create great things in the world. However, it does come with a warning to stay in alignment when you grow, to create rather than produce. Don't get addicted to growth. Instead, stay true to your mission and inner calling. Wow, that is so on point with everything we've covered here, what we've been talking about, of taking off the rose-colored glasses, allowing that veil to clear and reveal these greater truths, and anchoring into this saying, where do we come from? Reflecting back, having that inform where we wish to direct our energy forward, right? Staying in alignment as we grow. So finally, a little soul inquiry for contemplation with this card. What are you being called to create? How can you focus on creating rather than producing? How can you stay in alignment as you grow? Beautiful. Okay, so as we look back over this information that's coming forward, we have some guidance here on some Neptune retrograde do's and don'ts with this overlighting message of, I let go of false realities that aren't aligned with my true, authentic purpose with ease. So, of course, with these do's and don'ts, we want to pay attention to your dreams. Dabble with some dream journaling. Listen to your intuition. Let your creativity flow. Maybe learn new forms of divination. Drink water. Take soothing baths. Make moon water. You can meditate or pray or just be near bodies of water. As far as the don'ts, don't ignore your intuition. Don't ignore your dreams. Don't ignore changes. Do not run away from truths or reality, nor believe that ignorance is blissful. So a couple of pointers there for you. Also, we have some crystal energies. I'm just loving these beautiful shades of blue. They're very soothing, very cooling. We also have labradorite, tanzanite here for deep spiritual connection. Revealing things that are hidden, working with our intuition, dream work, these soothing watery energies. So some really beautiful crystals that you can bring in and around you to meditate on, to work with, and otherwise to help you to really connect in with these beautiful energies that are being offered to us at this time. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your feedback. I'd love to know how you're navigating these times. If you want to try out this Neptune reflection spread that we did, and you do want to try that for yourself or use them as journal prompts, feel free, and maybe even share here in the comments ways that you're connecting in or feeling the effects, or what comes forward for you in these reflections. I'd always love to hear your feedback. Feel free to send me a message too. I always love to hear from you guys. So finally, I just want to circle back. I mentioned the empowerment pack. I talk about that all the time. That's because it is my most popular and my personal favorite option, because that's where we get to connect for a month. And July Empowerment Pack is definitely off the ground and running, but it is only July 5th. So if you want to join me this month, we can catch you up. I want to tell you what this is about. It's a pretty cool bundle where for the month of July or any given month, we work together through 3 different specific readings where number 1, we'll do a reading where we take a look at the month ahead energies for you. We focus on the beginning, the middle, and the end, and we bring in all different types of elements that you can work with, such as color, crystal, spirit animal, all kinds of goodies. And then we also tune in for you around the moon cycles. So we've just had the full moon in Capricorn on the 3rd, had some really powerful messages that came through there. That reading, as well as the month ahead, is all queued and ready to go. If you wanted to book, I will instantly send those to you, and then we will connect for your personal card pulls, and I would do your month ahead reading, and then also connect with you over the 6-card spread that we did for this full moon and these energies that we are still in, to pull some personal moon oracle messages for you. And then finally later this month we have a new moon on July 17th. So there's some really powerful energy that's coming up. We're kind of in a little respite here and taking it all in. So it's a great time to dip your toe in and try out Empowered Tarot or one of my Metatron color healing offerings, such as ancestral healing, inner child healing, cord cutting would be fantastic for this time of year. So do reach out. Lots of ways that we can connect. And if you would like to work with me, I would love to have you. So please check the link or message me and we will get started. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed these messages. It's been a while since I put one of these together, so I wanted to put this out for you all to take in. Please let me know if you enjoyed the messages, what you would be interested in seeing more of. Until we meet again, I'm sending you all so much love and many blessings. Take good care.